Hello, welcome to this fifth question from the series of Quant Saral. Another question from CAT 2022 slot 2. And this time I'm taking up a question which many students actually felt it's very difficult, even going by the traditional method. They feel that it's very difficult to do this question. It was a long question. I thought of discussing it with you with some aptitude method today. Let's start discussing it. There are two containers of the same volume. First container half filled with sugar and the second is half filled with milk. Half the contents of the first is transferred to the second, then half of this is transferred back to first. Next, half the content of the first is transferred back to the second. The ratio of sugar syrup and milk in the second container is what? There are a few very important points that you need to understand to solve these questions logically. First, he says, first of all, half of the contents of the first container is transferred to the second. Then half of the mixture is transferred back to the first. Then half of the contents of the first are transferred back to the second. So everything remains within those two containers, right? So whatever sugar syrup is there initially, the amount of sugar syrup in those two containers together will always be the same. Let us say initially the total sugar syrup was 10. After some processes, I get to know that 4 liters of that is in container 1. I can immediately say 6 is in second. If 7 liters is in first, 3 is in second. So I can immediately answer about the other one if I know about the first one. That makes the job easy for me. Second, I have to do half of the contents to be transferred in the second. Then I have to transfer half of that again. Then I have to transfer half of that again. So 3 times I have to half this whole thing. How can we make our job easy? Let's talk about it. I'm writing it on this page now. That how can you work on it? There is container A in which initially I have sugar syrup. There is container B in which initially I have milk. Because I have to do half thrice, what is the number which can be halved thrice by taking just integers so that I don't have to get into decimals? Can I say that number is 8? That is 2 cube. 8 can be halved thrice. Half of 8 is 4, half of 4 is 2, half of 2 is 1. Of course, you can take any multiple of 8 as well. You can take 16, 24 or something. Try to take a number which is 8 or a multiple of it so that you can easily take half of that. Let's assume initially 8 liters of sugar syrup is here. So of course, 8 liters of milk would be there, right? So 8 liters of milk would be there. But what if I just focus upon one of the things? Let's say sugar or milk, not about the other one. So 8 liters is the total quantity in container A initially. What was that? Sugar or milk? Let's forget about it for a moment. 8 liters was the initial quantity in the second container. What was that? Let's forget about that as well. First of all, what did we do? Now currently I'm talking about the total quantity. Half of the total quantity from A is transferred to the second. So if half of 8 goes there, I will have total 12 over here and 4 over here. I'm talking about the total here. Then half of that 12 is transferred over there. From 12, 6 comes over here. So I have 10 over here and 6 over here. Then half of that 10 goes over there. So 10 plus 6, half of 10 is equal to 5. So I will have 11 over here and 5 over here. So if I talk about the total quantity, which was initially 8, 8 in the two containers, after the first process, it became 412. After the second process, it became 10:6. And after the third process, it became 5:11. Question is asking you about the ratio of sugar syrup and milk in the second container. But at the end of 3 processes, the second container has a total of 11 liters of quantity. Most probably my ratio should be a multiple of 11. By that logic, I can probably eliminate my option C and D, right? I can eliminate these two options, C and D. But I would not talk about that currently. What else I can do here? Now here I have written only the total quantities. Let's talk about the syrup, sugar syrup now. As I said, you can talk about any one of them, sugar or milk. Let's talk about sugar. Initially, how much sugar was here? 8. On the other side, we had 0 sugar. Okay. Now, when half of this is transferred, I have 4 sugar over here. If 4 sugar is here, how much is sugar on the other side? It is 8 minus 4. Total sugar is 8. So if 4 is over here, and the first container, it would be 8 minus 4, that is equal to 4. Now, when half of that is again transferred on this side, when half of that would be transferred, so how much sugar would come over here? Now, from that 4, which is in container B, when half of that comes over here, 4 plus half of that comes over here, 2 comes over here, I have 6 here. What is the quantity of sugar left on the other side? 2, that is 8 minus 6. And when half of the contents from A are transferred back to B, so from this 6, 3 would go on the other side, 3 would be left over here, 3 would go on the other side, I would have 5 sugar syrup here. Total is 11. 5 is sugar syrup. So how much is milk? Milk is 6. What is the ratio of sugar and milk? It is 5 is to 6. That is the right answer for this question, and that's what we call as aptitude.